Before we get into this video, please understand that I am not telling you to fly at an airport. This is showing you how you can fly at an airport if you have the need to. And not everyone has the need to, but some of you may. And if you certainly want to understand the needs for that, then of course this is a video for you. So we know that this is a big no-fly zone around the airport, but in actual fact, we don't call it a no-fly zone. We call it by the official name by aviation, and this is a term that you must use when you're actually talking with the airport, and we're going to talk about that in this video. Hi everyone, Stephen from the FlyBy Guys. It's good to see you again, and it's been a couple of weeks since our last video. We've been so busy on drone operations, I am absolutely exhausted. I've not yet had a holiday this year and I need to have one, but we are going to talk about flying in the areas of airports or manned aviation in that sense. So if this is something which you like and you want to share, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It's free. I don't bite, and you will be very much informed by not just this video, by others as well. So flying at an airport or the area of an airport. So we all know this is a no-fly zone and you shouldn't be flying there. Some people do and they shouldn't. But there is another term for this which we use, and it's the official aviation term. Now this makes no difference if you're in manned aviation or in unmanned aviation, or let's say if you're using drones. And the term for that is controlled airspace, or as we call it, the CTR. CTR is the short abbreviation for the controlled airspace, and that's exactly what it is. It's controlled airspace. So anything that comes into this area of any airport, you have to have permission. So it doesn't matter if it's a drone or it's an airplane or it's a light aircraft or it's a helicopter, permission must be granted to enter this CTR. And if you don't have permission, then they will not let you in. So that's why you must always plan your flight. So it doesn't matter if it's manned or unmanned, flights must be planned. So if you want to fly in that area, it's not just a case of opening up the application and saying, I want to fly. You must talk with the tower. Now this is a very simple process actually, and some people think that this is quite difficult, but it is really easy, because you just Google the airport that you want to fly, and you Google the air traffic control tower, and you will have a phone number there, and you can call that number. Now I would advise that you do this several days in advance. Don't do it on the day that you want to fly, because you will never get permission for that. I would do it at least 3 to 5 days before you plan to fly, and make sure that you have a good reason to fly. So if you're just wanting to fly for fun, they will not give you permission for that, because they will want to know why, and they want to know where and the type of drone. So they will ask you for all this information, and they will really kind of grill, and then they will make a decision. Usually it's fairly quick. Now my experience of flying in CTRs have been very positive. Of course, we are a company, so it's very easy, and we always have an excuse to fly. So it's never that we just want to fly for fun. Now, if you do want to fly for fun and you want to capture some video or something, then of course you can explain that to the person who's on the other line, because they are actually very understanding, and my experience is that they're usually very, very good. And if you talk their language, for example, using the term CTR, so if you use the term no-fly zone, you know, they will get the impression that you're not on the same page from, let's say, general aviation. So I would advise you to actually start using the term CTR when you're talking about the areas of an airport, which is usually like a 5 kilometer radius from the airport. Sometimes it's larger, it goes up to about 7 kilometers, but it's usually 5, but it just depends on the type of airport. So, but every airport, every international airport, let's say, will have a CTR, and it's very important that you know where that is, and if you have to fly there, then you have to ask for permission. Now, going through your application is one thing. Even if the application says it's okay, it's still not okay for the tower, because the tower want to know, because they want to know everything that is happening in the airspace. It doesn't matter if it's 100 meters, or it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 meters. They want to know what's happening. Now, outside of the CTR, Now, that's when planes and helicopters and stuff, they don't have to report back to the tower. The same way that when you're flying your drone, you don't have to report anything either. So what happens outside of the CTR stays outside of the CTR. So really, it's inside of the CTR, which is the main thing here. So make sure that you understand what the CTR is, and obviously looking at your maps, whether you have maps for the country or you're using, let's say, DJI Fly, because you will see the CTR there. And it's really important that you understand that it's not just a flight restriction or no fly zone. It is the CTR, and if you talk their language, it will be way better for you. And so what they're going to ask for if you contact the tower and they're looking and you're looking to fly there, they will be asking you your name, your operator ID, the name of the company, the type of drone you're flying, the serial number of that drone, the height you're flying, and for obviously for how long you're flying for. One thing which I forgot to mention was that some ATCs will require you to have an aviation radio to communicate. Sometimes phoning is not enough, but in the odd occasion they will ask you to have a radio operator. Now, this is something you have to be qualified to do, and you can get that qualification. It's quite simple to do. It's like a yearly fee, and then you also get the radio as well. If you don't have that, you can bring someone in to do it. This has happened to us a few times. So, for example, Amsterdam, we were flying shows within the CTR, and for Schiphol Airport, then you have to have, we had to have a actual radio operator. So, and it's happened a few times places as well. So, just note that sometimes calling is not enough. As well, and they may ask, and if they give you permission to fly, they may ask you to call 30 minutes before you fly, or even 50 minutes before you fly, just to verify as well, because this is something which they will ask you to do, because again, you might have a shift change or something, and if you have like a reference number, you can quote that, because someone might not get the memo and it can cause some problems. Sometimes this happens, but it's good to stay on top and make sure that you have everything in order, so that if someone does come, if you have the police or you have other people coming, that you can give some kind of reference as to the level of communication, because communication is very, very important. Because if you don't have the communication, then that's when all the problems happen, and you might end up in the news, and we don't want that now. Okay, so please, have you had any experience with flying in the CTR? Have you had any negative experience, or has it been very, very positive? My own experience has been really good. When I contact the tower and I talk with them, they're always very helpful, and they're always willing to work with drones, because it's something that they know that they're going to have to work with in the future. Thanks everyone. Remember, like and subscribe to the channel. Share this if you want as well. I wouldn't mind, because it's very, very important. Safety is absolutely paramount, because we can be safe as long as we understand the parameters of the CTR, and if we understand the communication towards the tower, then everyone's a winner. We'll see you on the next video. Fly safe.